FanDuel is the exclusive wagering partner of the CLNS Media Network. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 moneyline bet. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL.
Hey, Barry Manning here. Welcome to a practice edition of the Garden Report. Celtics back from their brief road trip to San Antonio, Oklahoma City over the turn of the new year. And we heard for the first time since Media Day from Celtics President Brad Stevens today, who made an impromptu appearance and looked ahead to the trade deadline, which, believe it or not, is only about a month away here. Celtics reported a few rumors so far, and Brad almost affirmed those today, given the type of player that the Celtics have been connected to here, actually revealing what the Celtics' biggest trade deadline need will be in his interview today.
I would like to continue to see how we can, find, another big wing or so that can help us. And I think that could be from within, and I also think that we'll continue to monitor free agency and trades. But again, the difference in this year and maybe other years is our tools are pretty limited, from a dollar standpoint.
And on that standpoint, you guys do have the grant TPE.
We do.
Do you anticipate using that from the standpoint of, I know it adds a lot to the tax bill as well to use that in full. Like, do you have the green light from ownership to
green light to do whatever we need to do, for sure. And that TPE, that's really the number one tool we have, right? Is the ability to add somebody, but that's 6.1 or 6.2 million, right? So it's a small number of people. A lot of the people that are in that were signed to minimums or smaller contracts or are on their rookie scale deals that teams aren't exactly excited to move on from yet.
So a bigger wing, of course, Brad there, and multiple times throughout his interview session today, emphasized that the wing he mentioned could be on the Celtics roster already. Of course, Sam Hauser has really ran with that role this year, but hasn't proven himself as a playoff contributor yet, sat for most of the last postseason. So is that who they're looking at still to prove themselves for that position, maybe 7th or 8th in the rotation there? Oshae Brissett is certainly a player that the Celtics signed to a 2-year deal, who got lost early on after a couple poor outings to begin the season, but over the last couple of weeks here has returned to the rotation when they've gone down a player or two and played really well as an offensive rebounder, transition, runner, and defender on the wing. So he might fit that as well. Of course, there's some other wings like Omar Stevens and Svi Mykhailiuk on the roster as well, and an open roster spot. Brad indicating that the Celtics will look at free agency as well. Didn't commit to upgrading the Mayesh Keita to a standard contract in that spot, but said that they've certainly taken notice with what he's done so far today. Also gave credit to Joe Mazzulla for setting the tone early this year, saying what he wanted the Celtics to do as a team together this season, and overall he's happy with the way that they've played together, complemented one another, and stressed, as he has multiple times in the past, that adding a player doesn't necessarily add to a team. There is a situation where the Celtics add a player and it takes away from what they're doing. So he said that they're trying to be careful with that right now, and that given that their only major piece to upgrade right now is that Grant Williams trade exception for about $6 million, they're pretty limited in both the type and number of players that they can acquire at this deadline. Certainly they have future draft picks to work with here, some salaries to send out if they need to negate something, but they like this group. Overall, they're the best team in the league so far this season, so there certainly won't be any panic moves. But as Brad said, in a season as important as this one, with some CBA restrictions coming in the future as well starting next year, it's on the Celtics to add as much as they can to this roster, especially if they, knock on wood, do lose anything over the next month here. But for now, at full strength, he's really happy with where they are. Said at center that he's very happy, doesn't see them adding a rotation center to this group if they're healthy. Kristaps he's been satisfied with, along with Al as the main rotation. And he does believe in Kornet and Keita as secondary contributors in that spot. So nothing major certainly coming for the Celtics here, though Brad typically not one to tip his hand given the moves he's made in the past. That full conversation is available on the CLNS Media YouTube channel. And we're going to talk about some of the other developments at practice today ahead of the Celtics game with the Jazz. Stay tuned for that here in Celtics All Access. Subscribe to CLNS Media. We talked to Joe as well as Al Horford today over there. So you can find those full interviews on that channel. I'm Bobby Manning, and this has been a practice edition of the Garden Report.